Hello and welcome to video number 11. So it's been a couple of weeks, but I'm back and I wanted to share some of the things that have been going on. For those of you who are new here, I shared my Q1 goals in my first video that I posted at the beginning of the year. It was something that I wanted to write out and really just share with you all to not only keep myself accountable, but also just get you all thinking about what are some goals that you want to accomplish in the year of 2025. So I am back from my program launch, which happened last week. So I am really excited for how everything went. I got to not only meet 47 individuals for the company that I've been contracting with and do this program launch, which was all about development and employee development, and really not only employee development, but just personal growth. And I was able to also be with my colleagues who I honestly have grown to know so much in the last 2 years. And we don't get to see each other very often. So it's really nice when we get to go to the office for a week, deliver on a program that we actually are passionate about, that really fuels us and really makes everything else that we do that's maybe not so fun and interesting worth it. So really excited with how that program launch went. In addition to that, I was watching the stock market crash pretty much the last 2 weeks. If you have been following along my journey, you know that I have been investing and talking about different stocks that I have personally been either purchasing or doing options plays with. And honestly, for the last 2 weeks, I've kind of taken a pause because of how volatile the market has been. There has been a huge nosedive to the downside, and it's almost always going to be related to news or things that are going on around the world. Obviously, this year that we have a new president, and so the markets are reacting to that. And so I think one of the biggest things and one of the reasons why I even wanted to record this video was because for someone who is a beginner in the market, and I'll include myself, I would say I'm like beginner intermediate in the stock market, it is really scary when you start to see all these red days, when you start to see, oh my gosh, everything is crashing, the market looks red, like what is going on? Should I hold on? Should I pull out? What should I do, right? And so what I've learned, at least from my experience, is that there are going to be times where you really just have to trust your gut, your intuition, and you also have to trust the fact that these fluctuations are inevitable, right? The market is never going to just be a straight shot up. And so a lot of times when you're like coming into the market and you really don't know too much about what's going on and you're just, getting your feet wet, and you see this, it does cause panic. It causes panic. It causes fear. People are like, I don't want to lose my money. And all of those feelings and emotions are valid. Okay, so I want to start off by saying that. But I also want to say that in a situation like this, if you are a long-term investor and you are looking to build wealth, you have to ride out the hard times. You have to ride out the low points. And that's like with everything in life, right? There are going to be really great times in your life where you feel like you're at an all-time high. There are going to be times in your life where things are rocky, things aren't going as well, but you just have to push forward. And so what I want to encourage people, especially if you are newer or even if you're not newer, right? There are people on here who have subscribed to my channel, which I'm so appreciative of, and have been sharing different stocks that you're looking at, things that you've been investing in, sharing which ones are coming up, things of that nature, right? And so I personally am also learning from this because I get to see which ones you all are recommending. I get to look at it. I get to purchase if I think that these are stocks that are worth adding to my portfolio. And so I know for a fact that if you are watching this video and if you have subscribed to my channel, you are committed to riding the wave, right? And if you haven't started yet and you've been wanting to start, but now you're like, oh my gosh, everyone is talking about the stock market crashing and everything looks crazy. I want to be the one to tell you a little secret about the market, because this is something that I personally didn't know so much about when I first started. And so I kind of was always waiting for the right entry. Like I was always looking at the charts and thinking, okay, well, it's kind of high right now. Maybe I should wait a month or two. Maybe I should wait to see if it dips. And the reality is that a lot of times you have to just jump in when you can. And you just eventually dollar average your cost, right? So what does that mean? That means that if you happen to get in the market when prices are up and something happens where the prices go down, you actually should be looking at buying more of that specific share to bring down your dollar cost average. So I'll give you all an example. You guys know I like to do little examples. So let's say you bought one share of a stock at $100, right? And now all of a sudden, a couple months later, that same share is now, the value of that share is now $50, right? So what do? You look at the share that you already own, and you can choose to sell it, you can choose to hold it, or you can choose to buy more. In my opinion, and what I've seen work for me, is if the company itself is a profitable company, if you look at the charts and you look 3 months, 6 months, a year out, 5 years out, and you see that it's a stable company and you know that there are fluctuations in the market, then my recommendation would always be to actually buy more, because now when the price is lower, you're actually kind of getting the same share at a sale price, right? Assuming that it's going to go back up. And so then if you buy, let's say, one more share of that same stock, now your dollar cost average is going to be $75. So now you own 2 shares at $75. Now, when the market decides to go back up and now it's back at $100 or it goes over the $100, you'll see that profit, right? So I hope that makes sense. I always try giving examples because at times when I'm looking at my own portfolio, I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Should I sell? Let's say if my shares go up 200%, like should I sell some of them so that I can actually gain profit? And a lot of that comes with, again, your intuition, your gut, trying to figure out what is going to be best. There have been plenty of times where I look at my portfolio and I'm like, okay, let's say, I'll give you all an example. This is a personal example. I had some Tesla shares, right? And as you all know, Tesla went up crazy last year, right? And so I was up like 400% on a couple of shares. And I'm like, okay, should I hold? Should I not? Should I sell? And so what I ended up doing is, because I started seeing it go down a little bit, and there were other companies that I've been more interested in holding long term, I decided to sell a couple of shares of my Tesla and then reinvest that money and the profit that I made into other stocks that I've been having on my watch list for the last year and have been doing pretty well. So again, it's one of those things where you have to also do portfolio management. You have to understand where you're at. You have to understand when you should hold onto a stock, when you should maybe reinvest it in something else. And so I say all of that to say, if you are just now getting started, don't be afraid of what the current state looks like. I would definitely recommend making sure that you have risk management, right? Do not invest money that you right now need. Do not invest money that you are counting on to pay for your living expenses, for your car note, for your insurance, for definitely not food and gas and all that stuff, okay? So only be open to investing with money that honestly you can afford to lose. And I know it sounds bad, but that's the reality of it. You never know. That is one thing about the stock market, is that it's very unpredictable. There's no real certainty, but what we have seen over the years and over the history of the stock market is that it will eventually come back up. So ride out the wave, ride out the lows, and really just be open to this idea and be open to the fact that like anything in life, there are going to be ups and downs. There are going to be moments where you're like, what's happening? And you just have to be optimistic and also just be cautious of the amount that you are willing to risk, because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. And then I'll finish the video by actually sharing someone who I follow who has given me a lot of reassurance when I look at my portfolio and I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? Like, why is everything going down? Or like should I be nervous? Should I be scared? and that is Wall Street Trapper. So if you don't follow Wall Street Trapper, this is someone that I've been following for the last, I would say, maybe 3-4 years. And not only have I learned a lot from his free videos that he posts on YouTube, I also follow him on social media. And I will say that I've been very intentional with who I follow on social media, the things that I consume, the things that, when you go into your scrolling, there are some times where I've realized like, okay, I need to remove certain people. And he is one of the people that have just been very consistent with his content, very straightforward. He shares not only the times where he's up, but he also shares, when he's taking the L's with us, right? So seeing a lot of these posts and seeing the transparency and seeing it coming from someone who is not only just, experienced, but also someone who is just real. Like, that is one thing I will say is like, I don't think I'll ever see something and I'm like, like he's just trying to sell us something, or no, he is being real and he wants to be able to educate other people. And so he's actually one of my biggest inspirations for posting content like this, because I really believe that we need to be spreading the word in our community. And when I say our community, I mean minorities in general, and especially people who didn't grow up with this information, with people who still don't really truly understand what financial literacy is, what investing is, what does it mean for long-term investments versus options trading, all of these things. And so what I will do is I'm actually going to link to his channel under my video, because I really believe that he's someone worth sharing and he's someone worth listening to. So if you are watching this and you're interested, or maybe if you're someone who's like, I don't know anything about trading, definitely check out his channel. Because I also believe that sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I don't have to sit here and record hours of trading content when there is someone who is out there who is doing a great job and deserves also the recognition. So thank you, Wall Street Trapper, for everything that you do for the community. And hopefully this video will help people get to you so that they can start learning as well as I did a couple of years ago. So that is it for my video. I'm actually going to go get a workout in. I just bought this Apple Watch and I told myself in order for me to feel good about this purchase, I need to make sure I put it to work. So I'm going to go get my workout in. Oh, and then the last thing that I wanted to kind of leave this video with, because man, God is good, is I have been wanting a printer. And I know this is super old school. People are all about digital stuff now, but I'm the type of person that I like to actually print stuff. I like to have pen and paper in my hand. I like to write things down, and I like to do my little checklists and all these things with pen and paper. And so I had been thinking about getting a printer, but I kept telling myself, girl, you don't need to spend $100 on a printer. Girl, you don't need then you got to buy ink, then you got to do this, and you got to do that. And I just kept putting it aside, but it was still in the back of my mind. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I went to go take the trash out here in my apartment complex. And usually we have the trash valet, so someone will come pick up the trash. So usually I don't have to worry about it. But this one time I was like, oh man, I missed the trash valet guy. So I have to go, take the trash to the dumpster. And so I go over there, I get my little trash bag, I walk over to the dumpster, I throw it in, I look down, and I kid you not, there is a printer. Y'all can see it right here. There is a printer sitting right next to the dumpster. Kind of like God was like, I got you. Don't worry. You don't got to go buy it. I got you. Pick it up. Buy the wires that are missing from it. Make it work. And you got yourself a printer. And that is literally what I did. So guys, I am so excited because I now have a printer, and it was something that seems so insignificant, but to me it's almost like God is always reminding me that like, I'm good, I got you, I'm here, I listen. It sounds crazy to say it about a printer, but if you've ever been in that situation, you know what I'm talking about. The times where like things are a little bit off, there's a lot of things going on in your life, you're like, oh my God, like, and God will remind you that He is there, that He is listening, that He got you. And so now I have a printer, guys, and I am super excited to actually print some of my stock related stuff, actually write things down, keep track of it. And yeah, I feel really good about my little friend here, which I will be using. All right, well, that's it for today, guys. If you like videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. Leave comments if you have any comments, if there's any stocks that you've been looking at, if there's anything that has been taking a nosedive and you think it's a good opportunity to buy, go ahead and also drop those in the comment. And yeah, I'll be back for the next video. Peace.